is a lack of incentives. Again, we've got people that are spending other people's money on other people they don't know. And they don't have the right incentive system that we do in the marketplace to cut spending. So the spending is just going to keep a continuous fight and not go anywhere. So the problem is the deficit, these persistent deficits. If we go back to Chelsea and John for a moment, and imagine that we travel through time and they've decided to keep their debt fixed. Remember, they had a $234,000 home mortgage. And now we let them go 40 years from now, and they're making $1 million a year, which might not be too unusual, right? When we have income gains with wage increases and other things. So eventually the debt will become a smaller fraction of your income, and it won't be as significant. So my proposal is to do a floating balanced budget. From year to year, it's okay if we run a deficit this year, but we should have a surplus the next year or the other year. When the times are good, we should have surpluses so that within a reasonable time that I propose would be 8 years, we should have budgets, deficits and surpluses equalizing each other. That is the problem. That will cure our debt problem. Thank you very much.
All right, finally we have Jason.
Okay, I'm going to make this pretty easy for you guys. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you're voting for the grad team today. First thing, the national debt is important. We are going to pay $500 billion this year on interest. It is important because that's money that we could have reinvested into the economy. Now, this is going to be 10% of our budget, and we should continue to pass down our debt to our future generations. And as my partner put it so well, you can't deficit without spending. Now, second thing is government waste. We've proven this through crazy programs that the private can do better, pork belly, public procurement, duplicate programs, inefficiency. Should I go on? The government is wasting our money, which leads me to the third point. The government spending is the root problem. Why would I give them more money if they can't spend it right? The fact that the government can give $1.5 million to the University of Washington to see if a phone koozie can keep a beer cold in hot weather is just completely outrageous. And we've shown this through many other ways that the government is just not doing it right. And if we can fix the amount that we are spending, then we will see that the national debt is going to go down. Woo.
All right, so now we're going to open it up for audience Q&A. So,
we'll try to put it just right here. If you guys can come up to the Q&A, give us some questions, and you get a t-shirt, so anybody who wants, kind of make a line here for some questions. You can ask anybody on there.
ask the question to one person specifically or to the panel, but if you ask, you get a t-shirt. All right, we have a question.
Can you hear me? My question's for Dr. Matola. You say we have a surplus, right? That's your solution? Where are we going to get that surplus, dude? Where's it come from?
So the surplus will come from a balance of tax revenues and spending, right? So the deficit is a balance of taxes minus government spending. And so if we have things structurally sound, on average over an 8-year period, sometimes we'll have more tax revenues, sometimes we won't, and they'll balance each other. That's where it comes from, the surplus. We did have a surplus in 2001 during the George Bush era, and he just freaking cut checks out to the general public because he thought, oh, we owe them money back. It was ridiculous. It should have went towards the debt. It didn't.
You also give the example of your normal working class people or whatever. Actually, they were pretty well off in your example. What do the people do that can't afford to have a surplus, that are living paycheck to paycheck? How do they solve their problems?
No, I'm all for taxing the rich proportionately more than the poor. So
Can I
the,
answer?
yeah,
Mind if I just give a little thing too? Okay, so that's kind of the point why taxes has to be done first, because there is so much inequality in the system. Like if you think about certain types of taxes, like sales tax, which disproportionately affect the poor. And if you have the people at the top end that are not getting taxed at all, I'm not so worried about Bill Gates moving to Ireland. You know, it's not going to happen. There's enough people that like certain types of freedoms that they stay here. So all of that offsets. So I think that to solve those bigger issues, the bigger issues of inequality, you have to start dealing with the nitty-gritty aspects of the tax code.
Also, if you decrease the taxes, there's more funds that are able to be loaned out at a cheaper rate, so it allows people to have access to those funds. I just didn't want them to both get to talk about
No,
us,
go
too.
for it.
Put it in the middle. Oh, wait, Christina wants to see.
My question's for Russ. So when it comes to treating corporations as individuals, there's a landmark Supreme Court case called Citizens United, in which corporations were able to back political action with their money because it was a form of free speech, because corporations are now considered individuals. So I'm just curious as to how you would address that, or if you still think that we should be.
yeah, I'd love to. That legislation sucks. So, we basically, by keeping it at the corporations, there's already currently our system is double taxation. So the corporation gets taxed, and then the profits get distributed through a dividend to the people who own the corporation, and then they claim that as personal income tax. There's no reason to do it that way. We need to stay competitive in the global market. So our current tax rate in the 23% range is at the average rate, which I think will help keep American companies here and also attract foreign companies to come to us. Whereas when we're at 39%, we're just are dumb. I mean, even President Obama wanted to change the corporate tax rate. There's been president after president, but the political will has not been there.
When you address dividends are taxed, and so when you say that something like individuals need to be taxed over corporations, wouldn't then the dividends be a form of tax on individuals?
Right, but they won't be paying it at the corporate level first. So basically it reduces that double tax element to it by keeping a reasonable, globally competitive corporate tax rate.
So you believe they should be double taxed?
They are double taxed.
Okay, gotcha.
We're just making it more reasonable of a double tax, dropping it from 39 to 24.
Gotcha.
But remember, corporations aren't taxed. Remember, because they're just giving tax breaks to get them to do that.
You're right.
So I.
Okay, one more.
I thought I'd have two. First one's short and simple, it's for Owen and Jacob. You guys basically say you want to eliminate spending overall. So what are we going to do for war, for poverty? I mean, stuff like that, because you can say cut spending for the roads, which actually I agree with, because entrepreneurs will come up and fix the roads when it's necessary. What are we going to do for funding for war?
Who was our government during the revolution?
Say that.
We didn't have a formal government during the revolution.
Well, yeah, but that's something that's here.
So
not
it's
going
important.
over across the sea.
It's important to remember that the examples that we've listed, we're not saying that the government should never spend money again, but there's so much government waste that it could solve our national debt if we started to get rid of that waste.
Plus, ultimately, like, you're conditioned to think that it has to be the government to do it because that's the environment in which you've grown up in. We don't think about those what we don't see, right? Because the government does it, we take for granted that the government does it. We don't think the free market can provide for us, whereas it can.
I was talking about war.
Okay, I've got a question for everybody. What will be the time frame before your plans make a substantial impact on the national debt?
If we stop spending, it will not go up tomorrow.
Actually, that is absolutely incorrect, because if we don't spend, then we can't pay it off. So that makes
So
absolutely
it
no
wouldn't
sense
go
at all.
up.
We had to have both the income and the spending to get rid of the national debt. Therefore, not running a deficit is the answer.
There's some bias going on here.
They had a plan of a surplus, but where are they getting their money from? It's from taxes. And then also our plan would be immediately, so using those funds and excess funds to go towards the national deficit and helping that. And they propose stop spending, and I don't know how stop spending is going to help pay it off.
Yeah, go ahead and make the announcement. Hold on, yeah, well,
So we're going to have one last question, but while this question is being asked, if you go to this website on your mobile devices, phones, what have you, then you'll be able to
Get your extra credit
get your extra credit.
and give us feedback and say
Give
who
us
do you
the
think
feedback and say which team you thought made the
Devilish.
more decisive case for their solution to the national
This
debt.
link's not working. Oh! I tested it before. All right, go ahead, Bryce, with your question. We'll try to fix it.
All right, my question is for the increasing taxes. If you increase taxes on corporations, won't that just raise the price of the goods and services that they provide and affect the lower class individuals more so than your upper class?
So we weren't talking about increasing taxes on corporations. We were actually saying we want equality among the wealthy and the working class. So right now, there's not that equality. So what we're trying to do is create that equality so that the funds are where they should be, so that we can put them towards government programming and also put that towards deficit.
Oh, well, I understand what you're saying with that, but it's like, I believe Jacob said, if you decrease taxes on corporations over a 30-year period, if you decrease taxes by 10%, I believe he said, it would double GDP within 30 years. So that would make even your lower class people better off than what they would be if you increase the taxes on corporations, and your lower class people would be worse off in that situation.
So two things. First, we're not,
Capital GI, you guys. Capital G, capital I. Go ahead.
so we're not actually taxing corporations, we're actually just not giving them free, okay? Because like the thing is that they're not paying anything. And so, and here's my second question, is how much would you pay for total equality? Okay, if it means that the prices of certain things go up, then there's more competition, right? So people are still driving through competition prices down in order to gain market. So maybe we just don't have astronomical profits anymore, and I don't know about you, but I'm okay with that, because when we, like that quote from earlier about the however many $40 trillion or whatever that the top echelons have taken and nobody else, what do you want?
And it's also worth noting that if you increase taxes, like she said, it will go to the debt work programs, and those programs cannot be guaranteed to be actually helpful to anybody, or go to things that are completely unnecessary, duplicate programs, things like that. So if you want to get taxed more and that go to wasteful things, then yeah, you could do that.
Roads are so wasteful.
I got a comment. The price is going up is awful. It's still, that would be a disproportionately big hit for the poor. If all prices go up because corporations are charging higher prices, the poor get hit harder with that. Not only that, but how about the poor people in India? How about the poor people in other countries? Let's have them be supported too. But all the poor people are going to be disproportionately hit. If you're going to argue anything, it's better to hit proportionately higher taxes for those who have higher incomes. And I'm okay with that.
Yes, so are we.
Okay, go ahead.
Remember again to vote, and I just want to say, I've got a class starting in 4 minutes,
Yeah, we're going to cut it.
so we have to stop very soon, but